Ukraine is under attack by flying junk. Not jets, not tanks, but swarms of cheap kamikaze drones, tens of thousands of them. Each costs less than a used car, but in mass they're devastating. In July 2025 alone, Russia launched over 6,300 Shahed drones into Ukraine, up from just 426 the year before. The scale of the assault is staggering, and it's reshaping modern warfare. This is not a war of flashy fighter jets or armored breakthroughs. It's a war of mass production, and for now, Russia has the edge. But Ukraine isn't standing still. Its drone industry has ramped up hard, claiming it can now produce 4.5 million drones per year. Many of these are already striking deep into Russian territory, creating a new kind of arms race, one not just about launching drones, but about stopping them. And the most promising solution on the horizon? It isn't a missile. It's a microwave. Enter Leonidas, a revolutionary U.S. weapon that doesn't just shoot drones down, but fries them mid-air with invisible waves of high-powered microwave energy. Instead of intercepting drones one by one, it creates an electromagnetic death field, turning the sky into a no-fly zone. Both Russia and Ukraine have already tested various anti-drone tools, from radar jammers and electronic interference to howitzers bolted onto trucks to blast drones out of the sky. Those weapons have had some success, but the scale of the problem keeps growing, and the West has been watching carefully. That's where Leonidas comes in. Built by U.S. defense company Epirus, it's designed to pump out more electromagnetic energy than any other system on Earth. Epirus CEO Andy Lowry even claims that if Leonidas were fired in Kiev, its signal could be detected as far away as St. Petersburg. That sheer power makes it both formidable and vulnerable. While it's effective, combat range is much shorter, about 1 kilometer for full impact and up to 10 kilometers for partial disruption. It's still enough to fry the circuitry of drones flying too close, and that alone changes the game. To see why, you have to understand the math behind drone warfare. Take Russia's Iranian-designed Shahed 136. Each costs around $35,000 to make, a price Russia has managed to replicate through domestic production. Smaller FPV drones cost even less, often just a few $1,000s each. Compare that to an American MQ-9 Reaper drone, which runs up to $32 million, or even the missiles Ukraine fires to stop Shaheds. Each interceptor can cost hundreds of thousands of dollars. That imbalance is brutal. From August 2024 to March 2025, Russia launched more than 15,000 Shahed-type drones at Ukraine. Even with Ukraine's impressive interception rate, the math still favors Russia. Each cheap drone forces Ukraine to expend precious, costly ammunition. It's a war of attrition that Russia has tilted in its favor, simply by throwing endless drones into the fight. The result is saturation. Even if many drones miss enough breakthrough to damage infrastructure and terrorize civilians, the true weapon is not just the explosives carried by each drone, it's the constant pressure on Ukraine's defenses. That's why Ukraine has relied so heavily on electronic warfare, scrambling signals, jamming GPS, and reducing drone accuracy. But those methods are only partially effective. Leonidas aims to change that. Technically called IFPC-HPM, Indirect Fire Protection Capability, high-power microwave. The system is portable, cost-efficient, and most importantly, designed to take out multiple drones at once. Instead of a missile for a drone, Leonidas creates an electromagnetic umbrella, frying anything inside its field. As long as it's powered, it can keep working indefinitely. This creates an entirely new economic model. No more million-dollar missiles wasted on drones that cost a fraction of that. With Leonidas, the ammo is just electricity. And its design is unique. Traditional high-powered microwave weapons release a pulse lasting only nanoseconds. Leonidas extends that to a full millisecond, 1,000 times longer. For a drone's tiny processors, that's an eternity. The sustained electromagnetic wave doesn't just disrupt. It overwhelms, forcing the system to shut down. Inside Leonidas are about 150 modular components, called LRAMs, line replaceable amplifier modules. The system's size and power scale directly with how many are installed. A small array has limited reach. A larger one, in theory, could protect an entire base or even a city. The U.S. Army has already ordered 2 Generation 2 Leonidas systems under a $43 million contract. These second-generation units deliver 30% more power, longer sustained firing, and 2.5 times the range. They're no longer just point defense systems, they're built for true area denial. One of the biggest challenges with the first Leonidas was its energy hunger. Keeping it running required massive power supplies. Gen 2 addressed that by adding 800 pounds of lithium polybatteries, letting it operate for up to 30 minutes without external power. That might not sound long, but in combat, it's enormous. A single drone flies through the engagement zone in seconds. 30 minutes is enough to fend off entire swarms. Even more promising, multiple Leonidas units can link together, effectively doubling their power and range. In theory, they could blanket vast areas with overlapping electromagnetic shields. What makes Leonidas especially dangerous to enemy drones is its adaptability. Lowry claims the system can figure out pathways into hardened electronics. In other words, even drones designed to resist electromagnetic interference might not be safe. Traditional EMP shielding won't guarantee survival. Leonidas essentially hacks electronics at the physical level, jamming not just antennas but motors, wires, and servos. It attacks the hardware itself. That capability makes it useful far beyond drones. In theory, it could disable vehicles, missile guidance systems, or communications gear. Any battlefield technology that relies on electronics becomes vulnerable. The Army says Leonidas achieved near 100% effectiveness in controlled tests, though real-world conditions are always harsher. Upcoming trials in California will test linking multiple systems, measuring performance under more complex scenarios. Production is another hurdle. Epirus says it can build about 20 Leonidas systems a year, maybe 30 with effort. Each costs between 10 and 20 million. That's not cheap. But considering it doesn't need missiles or consumables, it's far more cost-effective over time than traditional defenses. If LRAM production scales, costs could fall significantly. Still, Leonidas has a major weakness: visibility. It pumps out so much energy that it lights up sensors for miles. Once active, enemies will know exactly where it is. That makes it a prime target for Russia's glide bombs, cheap converted Soviet munitions that have become one of Moscow's most dangerous weapons. To survive, Leonidas will need shoot-and-scoot tactics, activating briefly, knocking out swarms, then relocating before enemy fire arrives. Fortunately, it can deploy in under 20 minutes, and Epirus has developed a mobile version mounted on a Stryker vehicle for frontline use. Beyond Ukraine, Leonidas has drawn massive interest. Epirus raised $250 million in new funding in 2025, bringing its total to more than $500 million. Australia has already invited it into its Project Land 156 drone defense program, and foreign militaries across the West are eyeing it as a must-have. The applications don't stop at war zones. With major global events like the upcoming World Cup in U.S. cities, Leonidas could serve homeland security, protecting against drone threats at stadiums or along borders. Between August 2023 and April 2024, one U.S. combat brigade faced 170 drone attacks abroad. The first-generation systems can handle small-scale threats, but comprehensive protection for critical infrastructure is still lacking. Leonidas could fill that gap. The broader picture is this: drones have fundamentally changed warfare. They're cheap, disposable, and deadly. Russia's relentless use of them has exposed the unsustainable cost structure of traditional air defense. The Leonidas represents a direct answer, breaking the math of attrition by making drone numbers irrelevant. If it works as promised, Leonidas could mark a turning point. It could protect frontline troops, shield cities, and rewrite how militaries think about air defense. But it still faces real-world tests: stealth, survivability, production scale. Can it stay hidden long enough to matter? Can enough units be built to make a difference? For now, Ukraine fights on with the tools it has, while the West races to deliver answers. The drone war is not just about today's battlefields. It's about shaping the future of conflict itself. If Leonidas proves itself in combat, it won't just defend against drones. It could change the entire balance of power in modern warfare. Thanks for watching. If you want to see how Ukraine is countering Russia's drone swarms right now, check out our next video. And if you want to stay on top of the most important shifts in global security, make sure to subscribe to The Military Show for daily updates.